Today, I went to see the place in Beijing, the famous shopping center. The shops there used to be in high demand. I remember during the time of wearing masks, the foot traffic in that place was still decent, not as desolate as it seems now. Today, I take a look and it seems that Sephora has withdrawn. Costa has also closed, leaving only H&M, Uniqlo, and Zara. To put it bluntly, the others are like market stalls. Later, I went to the place where I used to work, which is Chow Wei Soho, just diagonally across from the place. And when I looked over, oh my, it's deserted. People are gone, and the company spaces are empty. There are hardly any companies left. Looking at the state of things inside, one word comes to mind: decline.
Recently, Mr. Yi, the general manager of a large Chinese clothing chain on the Fortune Global 500, posted a video on Douyin talking about the current situation he observed at the place. There is a scarcity of customers in the mall, and the commercial atmosphere is bleak, which left him feeling nostalgic. The place is located on the east side of Dongdaqiao Road, welcoming guests along the National Road, dominating the western gateway of the Beijing Central Business District, CBD. It has become the flagship commercial center of the CBD. The scale of its skylight ranks third in the world. The phrase, "everyone in Beijing looks up to it," has made this place well known. The super luxurious LED skylight hangs above, piercing through the center of its commercial street. The place used to be the most suitable spot in the CBD for white-collar workers to slow down, stop, and enjoy life. Now, the place has a high vacancy rate, with varying degrees of vacancies from the ground floor to the top floor. Even in the prime location of the South Zone's first floor, there are quite a few vacant spaces. The mall is desolate, with people wandering aimlessly in twos and threes. Looking around, the shops are almost all in a state of desolation and emptiness. Few people enter the shops, and some of the staff inside are sitting bored, playing with their phones. There are rumors that businesses in the place are gradually closing down, including popular dining places like the late-night canteen, music pubs like Walnut Village, and brands like Sephora. 45 years after the beginning of economic reforms and opening up, people are seeing signs of economic downturn everywhere. Industry giants closing stores and readjusting, internet-famous brands massively shutting down, and once top-tier brands vanishing without a trace. A post on social media platform X mentions that Sanlitun in Beijing, which used to be a landmark of economic prosperity and fashion, now has entire rows of shops closed on one street. Media personality Zhai Bin describes the local business scene in Beijing as cold as the outside temperature. Zhai Bin recently stated to Mainland media that in a usually lively commercial street near his home, 5 to 6 street-facing shops have been unrented for over 3 months, a situation unprecedented even during the pandemic. Zhai Bin notes that business is quite slow in some shopping centers during the evening, and multiple dining establishments are resorting to offering discounts. He gives examples like a chain brand closing within 2 months of opening and new brands like Yolu Chuan and Lu Shanchuan shutting down within a month. Due to economic weakness and a slowdown in business activities, the vacancy rate of high-end office buildings in Beijing is continuously soaring. Dongguanchun, an area for high-tech companies in Beijing, has many businesses closing due to financial difficulties. Many offices and storefronts are left vacant. The remaining businesses are either involved in e-commerce, catering to large clients, or engaged in wholesale. Retail businesses are essentially non-existent. Currently, the rental prices for offices and prices of apartments in Dongguanchun have dropped back to the levels of 10 years ago. The founder, chairman, and CEO, as Zhong Longcheng, as well as a member of the China Youth Entrepreneurs Association, Mr. Deng Yunlong, posted a video on Douyin.
The vacancy rate of office buildings in Beijing's Zhongguancun has reached 16.9%. In contrast, at the end of 2020, the vacancy rate was only 2%. He questions why so many businesses flock to Zhongguancun, emphasizing that the fundamental reasons lie in changes in supply and demand, the speed of demand growth, and market expectations. Currently, there's a decline in new businesses, openings, and startups, with a significant number of businesses either terminating leases or closing down.
Deng Yunlong highlights the increasing number of new office building projects in Beijing, resulting in an average rental price of 316 yuan per square meter. The monthly decrease is substantial, reaching as low as 15%, which brings the current pricing back to the levels of 2012. Residents near Dongguanchun expressed that 3 years ago, office buildings around Dongguanchun would still have their lights on until 9 p.m. However, nowadays, it's rare to see the entire area illuminated during the evening. According to Sun Zutian, the head of the research department for the northern region at commercial real estate services firm Savills, the high vacancy rate of office buildings in Dongguanchun is influenced by several factors. On the one hand, the relocation of internet giants like ByteDance to self-owned properties has had an impact. Additionally, some growing enterprises are moving to technology parks outside the Fifth Ring Road with lower rent. Some companies are also being phased out during the information technology iteration, leading to their withdrawal from the office leasing market. As an economic barometer, the vacancy rate, rental levels, and leasing enterprises of office buildings are essential indicators reflecting economic trends. Data from international real estate services provider Cushman & Wakefield shows that in the second quarter of this year, Beijing's overall office vacancy rate reached 18.3%, marking the highest level in nearly 13 years. In key areas, rental prices in Beijing's major business districts almost universally declined compared to the second quarter. Recent statistics from Cushman & Wakefield show that by the end of the third quarter of this year, the vacancy rate for Grade A office buildings in Beijing continued to rise, increasing by 1.2 percentage points compared to the previous quarter, reaching a high of 19.5%. This marks the 8th consecutive quarter of declining rents in the Beijing office market. A leasing intermediary with 7 years of experience in the office space industry mentioned that many tenants he dealt with this year were relocating from the second ring road to the third ring road or from the city center to the outskirts. He recalled that 5 years ago, the Beijing office space market was entirely different. After viewing a property, tenants would almost immediately sign the lease if satisfied, rarely negotiating on price. He stated, "Landlords were not worried about not being able to rent out their spaces. When we took clients to view properties, we would only dare to call the landlord after reaching the ground floor. Now it's the opposite. When landlords hear that we are bringing high-quality clients, they have already prepared coffee and snacks." Another senior industry manager in Beijing admitted in an interview that the local office space rental market has been challenging this year, with only 2 or 3 client groups per month, and almost all deals involve lowering the rent. The recent news of fines in Beijing has sparked criticism among many netizens. The incident involves a small local business, the Wannan Warm Bun Shop, which, in an attempt to increase profits, sold 1,169 servings of tofu pudding on the Meituan delivery platform between April 23rd and July 27th, priced at 6 yuan per serving, resulting in a profit of 7,014 yuan. The Beijing Market Supervision Department determined that the shop was operating hot food beyond its approved scope, imposing a fine of 15,000 yuan, confiscating the quote-unquote illegally gained 7,014 yuan, and publicizing the case. The hefty fine poses a significant burden for such a small business. Critics argue that the authorities' approach of imposing substantial fines appears to be aimed at shutting down the bun shop altogether, raising concerns about the livelihoods of ordinary people. While this incident may seem like an issue of overly strict law enforcement on the surface, it fundamentally reflects the financial crisis of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, and the underlying economic downturn. Government departments are increasingly resorting to fines, creating various pretexts to extract money from the public, contributing to the prevalence of what some describe as the fines economy. The fact that even the capital, Beijing, is issuing such fines has led to a sense of despair among netizens regarding the state of the Chinese economy. Some make comments like, "The key is that this is a fine from Beijing," and "Beijing has started to grab money. The economy is in real trouble. Otherwise, why would they resort to such creative ways to extort money?" Fines in various places in China seem to be getting more creative. In a previous case in Shanghai, a restaurant operator named Mifan Catering was fined 5,000 yuan and had 119 yuan of illegally gained money confiscated. The reason given was that the restaurant operating permit only allows the sale of cooked dishes, and cucumber strips are considered raw vegetables. This was criticized at the time as an abuse of regulations. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP government, has been imposing numerous taxes and fees with the recent financial difficulties faced by the CCP, where many government employees are not receiving their salaries, and authorities have delegated many enforcement powers to the grassroots levels, such as traffic police, urban management officers, and neighborhood offices, to generate revenue on their own. As a result, officials at the grassroots level are heavily burdening the people, causing widespread dissatisfaction. The economic situation in China as a whole is currently bleak, with no signs of improvement. Even Shanghai, the economic center of China, is rapidly declining. The rising vacancy rates and falling rents of office spaces in Shanghai have garnered attention. According to a report on the Shanghai office market, released in the third quarter of this year by Colliers International, the vacancy rate for office spaces in Shanghai has risen to 19%, and it is projected to increase to 21.6% for the entire year. At the same time, the average annual rent for office spaces is expected to decrease by 4.4 percentage points. Mainland media has reported that the vacancy rate for non-core area office spaces in Shanghai is close to 50%, reaching a new low in the past 3 years. If we consider the international warning line of a 20% vacancy rate, the outlook for the office space market in Shanghai is quite pessimistic. Financial analyst Lao Man mentioned on social media that with over 20% of office spaces vacant in Shanghai, it looks like a fourth-tier city. Behind this unprecedented phenomenon is the collective contraction and even direct closure of the China operations of foreign financial institutions that used to rent half a building in Shanghai. In the past 2 years, several foreign financial institutions have closed their offices in Shanghai, including ING Bank, Citigroup Private Banking, Norway Sovereign Wealth Fund, Morgan Stanley, Canadian funds, BlackRock, Moody's, and Vanguard, among others. The Shanghai municipal government has not had any effective measures to address this phenomenon. With the financial sector declining and office vacancy rates sharply rising, the Shanghai economy is stagnating. Looking at the popularity of shopping malls, according to data from the Shanghai Statistics Bureau, the profit of the wholesale and retail industry in Shanghai decreased by 10% year-on-year in the first 3 quarters of this year. However, in order to make up for the tax shortfall and pay additional value-added tax, Shanghai businesses still struggled and paid 9.1% more in taxes. This situation is unbearable for Shanghai businesses. Therefore, some businesses that survived the past 3 years of the COVID-19 lockdowns could not make it through this year. At the end of January, Shanghai's Lujiazui Plaza 66 closed its doors, and at the end of August, Pacific Department Store in Xuhui District also closed for good. In addition, there have been recent rumors circulating online about the possibility of Tesla evacuating from Shanghai. There is evidence suggesting that Tesla is considering moving its Gigafactory out of Shanghai because the United States is replicating the Shanghai factory in Mexico and is actively mobilizing China's Tesla suppliers to go abroad. According to Bloomberg's report on July 7th, Tesla is reportedly laying off some of its battery assembly workers at its Shanghai factory. It's unclear how many workers may be affected, and the specific reasons behind the layoffs are not yet clear. Tesla's Gigafactory in Shanghai is its largest and most productive factory, employing around 20,000 workers. The Shanghai Gigafactory has been a focal point for Tesla's operations in the Asian region and is a key production base. If Tesla were to withdraw from Shanghai, it would undoubtedly have a significant impact on the Chinese market. Beijing and Shanghai, as China's capital and economic center, respectively, are crucial indicators for the Chinese economy. The economic slowdown in these 2 major cities is indicative of the challenging economic conditions in China. Currently, the 3 main drivers of China's economy are facing challenges, with declining exports, continuous outflow of foreign capital, and insufficient domestic consumption momentum. What makes the situation worse is not just the current state, but the ongoing deterioration, and the Chinese government seems to be struggling to find effective solutions to stabilize the economy. As analyst Lao Man stated, Shanghai, and even the whole of China, can only fall step by step into the deepest abyss. What else can we say? We can only wait and see the outcome.